Hi guys! Of course it's no news how rapid the real estate industry has grown to be in the Nigerian economy. But the thing about it is that, if done wrongly, you might be thinking you are acquiring wealth, whereas you are burning your money over time. Sure, there are a lot of reasons for this, but today I'll be sticking around with the legitimate title document you should get familiar with while you invest in real estate. Most people buy properties in haste due to agents' prayer or probably for other reasons. And sequel to that, they are forced to ask the right question at the wrong time. Fundamentally, land is owned by the state government and can be passed down to any individual or corporate bodies through a well-structured lesson process. You see why it is important to understand the land titles in the Nigerian law. The Land Use Act, enacted in the year 1978, vested all urban lands within the state in the governor of that state to hold on behalf of the people. Therefore, the allocation of land to individuals, corporate bodies or organizations for residential use, urban use, or agricultural use is the sole responsibility of the governor of the state. Just so you know, property titles are documents that legitimately serves as evidence for ownership of such property. And here are land titles you should request for when buying or purchasing a property. It is important. Number 1 is Certificate of Occupancy, C.O. This title is presented to landowners who had a piece of land prior to 1979. This title, C.O., can only be issued once to the purchaser of land. And in addition, C.O. is the title presented to all government properties and even those with land allocation. Number 2 is R.O., Right of Occupancy. This is the right of an individual or community or family to make use of land lawfully for a particular purpose in accordance with the Land Use Act of the 1978. But this doesn't proclaim the ownership of the land. Unlike the C.O., the right of occupancy, the R.O., only presents an offer to the property, not the ownership right to the property, to the land. But here's the gist. A R.O. can have the right revoked without compensation, unlike the C.O. And in addition, the R.O. is not an ideal document or title to use for collateral when seeking for loan or acquiring loan, unlike the C.O., which most people use as collateral. Number 3 is the governor's consent. Whenever a land with the C.O. title is resold, the consent of the governor is needed before such land or such transaction can be deemed legal. So logically, it is the acknowledgement of the governor to the transfer of ownership of land or properties when the C.O. was once issued on that property. So most times this acknowledgement is attached to the back of the deed of assignment. We'll talk about that in subsequent videos. Number 4 is Excision. From the word excised, it is a process whereby the government release an allotment of land back to the original owners, either for residential purpose or commercial use. So a family or any individual interested in such land can process an excision approved by the government, and documentations for such land can be processed to the level of governor's consent. Number 5 is Gazette. This is a legal journal book that explicitly documents or details all the attributes of that parcel of land that has just been excised or released or recovered by the family or the community or probably an individual. So it mostly contains the name of the family or the community and details of that particular land excised and its usage. So if you are buying a land or if you've bought a land with Gazette, you can actually apply for C.O. to governor's consent level. Now pay attention to this. Without a Gazette, an excised land can be revoked or seized. So that's why Gazette is more superior than excision. So for security reasons, try and secure a land with a minimum of Gazette as a title document. Number 6 is Government Allocation. Yeah, I know we've been seeing a lot of properties with government allocation. So here's the thing. Lands within government acquisition, non-committed acquisition. We'll still talk about that subsequently. So most of the time, this land are just there with the government and the government are still waiting on what to do with the land. So real estate companies, hospitals, other government parastatals and co. use this opportunity to partake in listing for the land. They approach the government seeking an approval for the usage of the land. So when the government checks in and fine-tune that, okay fine, these people, what they are trying to use the land for suits the purpose of the land, that is a defined goal. So the government issues a government allocation as a title on the land for usage. So for that company, the real estate body or any other body, be it a hospital or anything, to claim full ownership on the land, that government allocation needs to be processed to C of O, Certificate of Occupancy. So that's why you see some land, government allocation, some will have government allocated C of O. That means the land was actually from the government, but mostly they are non-committed lands. In conclusion, here's my view. All these unlisted titles, from the Certificate of Occupancy, Right of Occupancy, the Gazette, the Excision, and the Allocation, they are all legitimate titles. And I mean, any owner of this property with all these titles should take a back seat and relax. There's nothing to worry about. Although it is best to buy land with C of O, or better still, governor's consent. Even though most of these land are quite expensive and costly, especially within the urban areas, urban regions, like Lagos, for example, or Abuja or Port Harcourt. Or better still, buy lands with government allocation to save you from the stress of processing your own titles or probably future uncertainties. But if all these are out of your reach, please go for land with Gazette or Excision. Yeah, note, freehold is also a title, but you should always do your due diligence when acquiring such property. I'm yours truly, Mubarak Adesina Ogunlade, the real estate guy from the firm of SBG Realty. In my next video, I'll probably be talking about why a land surveyor is your best friend in property acquisition or real estate investment. So, see you in the next one.